What are some halal ways to build up your credit rating? In this video, inshallah, I'll be covering some of the halal ways to build up your credit rating so that when you go and apply for the Islamic mortgage or go and buy a car from an Islamic Sharia compliant company, then you have a higher chance of being accepted and getting a good deal from them. So what are some of the ways in which you can build up your credit rating in the halal way? The first way is to open a bank account. Now, of course, we will recommend that you open your bank account with a Sharia compliant bank. If you have an Islamic bank in your country, then definitely support the industry and support that bank by opening your account with them. They will benefit from that from you, and you will benefit from them, inshallah, and together we can grow the industry to make sure that there are more products available for Muslims in countries where they don't have these products currently. But if, of course, you don't have an Islamic bank, then you can open an account with any of the other banks, because you need a bank account nowadays to have your wages paid in and so many bills which are deducted by direct debit and so on. So you need to have a bank account anyway. When you're young, as soon as you're able to open up a bank account, go and open up a bank account, and that will be some notches towards building your credit rating a little bit higher. Now, once you have your bank account, the second way is to make sure that you pay your bills on time. Now, this one, paying your bills on time, is something which won't really build up your credit rating in that way, but it would avoid your credit rating going down. So, of course, if you have to pay for utilities, or you have to pay for electric and gas, you have to pay your rent, you have to pay your council tax. For those of you who are listening who are in the UK, of course, keeping up with those payments will ensure that your credit rating does not go down. So opening the bank account is the number one step. And now that you've got bills going out, then of course you need to make sure that those bills are being paid on time to avoid your credit rating going down. So that will keep your credit rating at a level playing field. The third tip, which will ensure that your credit rating actually goes up, is one of the best ways is to get a mobile phone contract. And getting a mobile phone contract is one of those unique ways in which they do a credit check on you, but it's quite easy to get a mobile phone contract. And the best thing is that they don't charge you interest on that. Why? Because the mobile phone companies, they know that by spending the airtime with them, the minutes and the text and the data that you spend with them, that is where they'll be making their main profit. Yes, they resell the phone to you on a profit as well. They don't charge any interest because they normally purchase that from the phone companies and then they will sell it to you. Even if they're being purchased on a deferred payment, that's a different story, because they're dealing with the phone companies. But they will sell it to you on a contract based on you spending airtime with them, spending money on text and data. And that's how they make their money. So as you pay off the phone bill over, nowadays is 2 years or 3 years, as you pay off the phone bill, then your credit rating will actually go up, because now you have bought something on credit, interest-free credit, and you have paid off for that over the course of the term of that contract. So number 3 is get a mobile phone and pay those bills on time. Number 4 is more for UK residents. I'm not sure how this applies to those residents who are living in the US or Canada or Australia or South Africa or anywhere else in the English-speaking world, because you're probably listening to me if you're in the English-speaking world, is that you register on the Electoral roll. And that is one of the easiest ways to build up your credit rating, because you don't have to buy anything, you don't have to pay anything off. All you have to do is to register your name on the Electoral roll, and it will have you registered as a resident. Companies will be able to track you, and therefore your trust goes up in the eyes of these companies. So it's a really simple way of getting your credit score up in a very, very cost-effective manner. In fact, it's absolutely free. The fifth way of building up your credit rating is a little bit controversial, because you might have seen on my channel that I've got another video which talks about whether credit cards are permissible or whether you can use credit cards in Islam. The opinion that I follow, which is the opinion of Mufti Taqi Usmani and a lot of the other scholars that talk about this issue, is that you can get a credit card as long as you're paying within time. If you want more details on that, of course, definitely check out the other video on the channel, which is Are Credit Cards Allowed in Islam? But if you get your credit card and you pay it off in time without ever going into the interest period, into the period when you have to pay interest, that is a surefire way of building up your credit rating. Because along with getting the mobile phone and paying that off, you are making small purchases, and we always recommend to make small purchases with your credit card because it's really easy to then to pay that off as well. So getting a credit card, if you do take the opinion that you're allowed to take a credit card as long as you're paying within the interest-free time, then getting a credit card and paying those payments is one of the best ways of building up your credit rating, and is done in a way that you're not paying any interest. And the last way, the sixth way in which you can build up your credit rating is actually keep track of your credit rating. If you're not going to keep track of your credit rating, you don't know if it's going up, if it's going down, if it's flatlined, how are you going to build it up? So definitely tracking your or keeping an eye on your credit rating, ensuring that it's in the high 3-digit numbers as opposed to the low 3-digit numbers, is really important to ensure that you know. Because of course, if you're thinking about credit rating right now, hopefully you're thinking of getting a Islamic mortgage, or you're thinking of buying a car from interest-free cars, and you need to understand your credit rating. Maybe you're going into a job in which your credit rating is really important. If you're going into some sort of maybe financial advisory, then you need to make sure that your credit rating is good, because they will look at you whether you are a trustworthy person to give other people financial advice, and there's nothing in your background which could prevent you from giving that financial advice. So if you're going to work in the financial sector, the halal financial sector, then having a good credit rating is also important. So these are some of the halal ways that you can build up your credit rating. If you want to track your credit rating, there's a link in the description in which you can register with a credit checking company, and you can ensure that you can track your credit rating as you're going along and building your credit rating and building your journey towards that final purchase. If you've made it here to the end, Jazakallah khair, definitely subscribe to the video and watch the other videos on the channel. I don't just talk about Sharia finance. I don't only talk about business. I also talk about the topics that I learn on a weekly basis with my teachers and everything that I've learned over time with my studies in Islamic studies. And hopefully that's a reminder for me, most of all, but also a reminder for everyone else.